If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
The moment former President Trump escaped death by the whiskers during a political rally in Pennsylvania. One person was confirmed dead, while two others were injured. He was shot by Thomas Crooks, a young man identified to be a high school graduate in the 20s. In the aftermath, security measures have been heightened across the rally, and world leaders have condemned the violence and expressed concerns about the dead. On the social media, discussions range from concern over political rhetoric to heartfelt messages of support for Mr. Trump and his family. Throughout history, the United States has faced similar challenges, each leaving an indelible mark on the nation's path. The assassination attempt on President Trump becomes the 13th in a row. The first was recorded in 1865 when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in his home while watching a play alongside his wife. He died the next day. In 1881, James Garfield, the 28th President of the United States, was shot while walking at a train station in Washington, D.C., 6 months after taking office. He died of his wounds a few weeks later. In 1901, William McKinley, who was the 25th president, was shot and died 8 days later. In 1912, Theodore Roosevelt, who was running for the White House as a former president, was shot in Milwaukee, but he survived. 1933 was when Franklin Roosevelt, the 32nd president, escaped an assassination attempt which killed the mayor of Chicago. In 1963, John F. Kennedy, 35th president, was fatally shot while riding his motorcade through downtown Dallas and died in a hospital a few hours later. One could remember that of 1968, Robert F. Kennedy, the younger brother of John F. Kennedy, who was campaigning for the Democratic nomination, was shot dead by Sirhan Sirhan.
Today, I have stood where once Jefferson Davis.
In 1972, George Wallace, who was seeking the Democratic presidential nomination, was shot 4 times, though he didn't die, but the wound from the shots left him paralyzed for the rest of his life. 1975, Gerald Ford, the 38th president, escaped 2 assassination attempts within 17 days, both in California, Sacramento, and San Francisco, and both attempts were carried out by women. 1981, Ronald Reagan, the 48th president, was shot by John Hinckley. The bullet pierced Reagan's left lung, narrowly missing his heart. Reagan survived the attempt to his life. 1994 will always be remembered as when Bill Clinton, the 42nd president of the United States, had his experience inside the White House when Francisco Martin fired at the building using a semi-automatic rifle. Clinton was unharmed. The most recent was in 2005 when George W. Bush, the 43rd president, attended a rally in Belize with Georgian president, and a man threw a hand grenade towards the podium. It did not explode and no one was hurt, but the culprit was sentenced to life in prison.